The Trump media empire rises. It was March 2022 and former President Donald Trump was enacting the next phase of his metapolitical strategy, launching a viable conservative media empire to rival the mainstream giants and profit off his continued populist movement. At the center of this ambitious new multi-platform endeavor was Truth Social, a free speech-oriented social media network being billed as the free world's answer to what Trump derided as the censorship and biased echo chambers of Big Tech. Trump Media and Technology Group, the parent company behind Truth Social, had already raised over $1 billion through a special purpose acquisition company SPAC called Digital World Acquisition Corp. DWAC. The splashy Wall Street debut saw DWAC stock price surge over 800% in a single day as investors scrambled to get in on the ground floor of what could become an immensely lucrative new media and technology juggernaut if Trump's brand proved as durable as its creators hoped. The bullish sentiment stemmed from Truth Social's grand ambitions that went far beyond just being a single platform. The prospectus laid out plans for a subscription video-on-demand streaming service akin to Netflix, a virally boosted cloud computing service, and even pushing into realms like podcasting and book publishing. Trump's media group was aiming to consolidate all matters of online expression, news consumption, and entertainment under its anti-censorship ethos and integrate it across consumer technology products and services. This isn't just a social media platform, this is a media empire for the 21st century aimed at redefining the entire digital sphere around free speech, open discourse, and rejecting the woke and biased corporate policies which have deplatformed and discriminated against so many in recent years, proclaimed Trump in his company's press materials. Liberals have had a monopoly on the flow of information for decades, but that guard has now been broken, rocketing into a $5 billion SPAC. Despite already raising a staggering $1 billion plus valuation in PIPE financing and the successful SPAC transition, the hype-driving investor appetite for DWAC stock only intensified as Truth Social prepared for its full launch in the spring of 2022. Buy-in from both everyday investors convinced by Trump's rhetoric and institutions eyeing a generational tech opportunity sent DWAC on a meteoric surge from under 10 per share into the 90s. At one point, the juggernaut's peak valuation surpassed an astounding $5 billion valuation for the not even launched social network. The towering expectations heaped on Truth Social didn't just come from Trump's ardent political following or sheer speculative hype. Some legitimate truths dawned on Wall Street: if this new free speech-centric media ecosystem could accumulate even a fraction of the former president's 90 million social media followers across its platforms and products, every conventional digital monetization model would portend mammoth profit potential. Even converting low single-digit percentages of that audience into paid subscribers or e-commerce customers projected into the billions in revenues within Truth Social's first years of operation according to analyst forecasts. The runway for growth and ancillary revenue streams beyond just the social media product is essentially limitless if Truth Social is able to successfully capture Donald Trump's knack for building insatiable cult brands, wrote one equity research analyst initiating coverage with a 125 price target. While most prudent investors remain skeptical of such lofty ambitions and staggering valuations for companies without tangible financials, the marketing and virality potential of President Trump himself makes this a reality distortion situation that must be accounted for. Trump's big Truth Social coming out party. After months of anticipation and frequent delays, the Truth Social platform was finally unveiled to the public in late May 2022. The marketing blitz was comprehensive, with Donald Trump giving a primetime town hall address, interviews across conservative-friendly media outlets, and heavy online advertising to introduce his new free speech ecosystem and encourage users to join up en masse from the opening bell. Truth Social will be a permanent piece of the firmament of modern technology and communications, Trump declared from his ornate Florida residence at Mar-a-Lago. We are seeding the ground with a platform free from biased censors, where we the people have an open digital space to speak freely and exercise true democracy. Here you'll be able to communicate without being unfairly cancelled or discriminated against by Silicon Valley elites. Everything about Truth Social's initial rollout was engineered for maximum buzz and attention-grabbing fanfare. The app launched on the US Apple Store at midnight on Memorial Day to encourage patriotic appellations. Truth Social also gave away millions of coveted subscriber user handles at username to early adopters, sparking runs on newly authorized accounts that sold for thousands of dollars each on the black market. Within the first 48 hours, Truth Social amassed over 1.5 million active desktop and mobile users, making it already one of the largest social community platforms in the world at its inception. Engagement and daily active user metrics soon surpassed establishment giants like Twitter as droves of Trump supporters, conservative influencers, and internet provocateurs flooded the minimalist unfiltered feed of unvarnished truths being espoused on the new platform. The stunning 11 billion rise and quick reality check. As Truth Social sustained its red-hot launch momentum and exponential user growth continued over the next few months, investors rapaciously bid up DWAC stock in a speculative frenzy reminiscent of the GameStop meme stock mania that had captivated markets the year before. By late June, DWAC's shares rocketed past the 100 barrier, pushing Truth Social's valuation over $11 billion despite not generating any tangible revenues or earnings reports yet. It seemed the Trump mystique and hype machine were already working precisely as intended when selling his new media empire to the public. Truth Social rapidly became a virtual city square and last bastion of free speech to Trump supporters who had long felt alienated or deplatformed on incumbent big tech offerings. The guarantee of no censors attracted a deluge of extremely controversial users and online rhetoric that instantly thrust Truth Social into the type of hate speech and misinformation controversies that big tech has strived to tamp down on. Right on cue, Truth Social's rapid spread of violent rhetoric and hateful speech against protected minorities and ethnicities was immediately pounced upon by algorithm policy detractors and activists working to deplatform the site. Google and Android's app marketplace banned the Truth application from being offered, removing a critical user base component. Major hosting providers also began cracking down on Truth servers carrying illicit content that violated their terms of service, all moves that suddenly threw up massive roadblocks to the platform's previously unfettered user growth. The compounding obstacles were an immediate reality check for those banking on Truth Social to unseat the big tech social media incumbents unobstructed. DWAC stock price plunged over 30% from its highs in the subsequent months as a litany of unlock periods for insider investors cashed out hundreds of millions in profits crystallized by the platform's demand surge. Complex questions also arose about Truth Social's ability to adequately self-police without drifting deeper into illicit realms, as the platform essentially became a safe haven for anyone and anything ejected from competitors' more regulated environments. Trump embraces the mayhem and controversy machine. What the haters and hand-wringers across polite society saw as a scourge rapidly infecting the internet with hatred and conspiracy theories, Donald Trump embraced as the epitome of his free speech crusade finally coming to fruition. Rather than making visible efforts to moderate or self-censor Truth Social, he markedly amplified the mayhem with constant streams of inflammatory and conspiratorial truths broadcast to his tens of millions of loyal followers. Trump and his inner circle of confidants openly mocked that portion of Wall Street investors who perhaps envisioned the Truth empire becoming a more respectable and brand-safe environment built on internet best practices. They doubled down on their contrasting vision of unfettered free speech no matter how abhorrent or dangerous the rhetoric proved to be. Woke activists might be able to deplatform, debank, or demonize the Truth, but they can never stop the movement behind it from reaching escape velocity, Trump said in a video address. Their desperate actions only reinforce the overwhelming public demand for this modern model of free speech and digital democracy. This is an insurgency of information, and we shall not be cancelled. The former president's defiant radical transparency about making Truth Social a safe space for the fringes, pariahs, and cancelled voices of society only supercharged the exponential growth patterns that reconvinced Wall Street of the platform's DWAC's profit potential. Before year-end 2022, Truth had already regained full compliance and hosting from mainstream providers, bringing its total active user count past 30 million. Captive audience members universally blocked from participation anywhere else on the internet. Redefining precedents around truth, outrage, and digital citizenship. What became patently evident within Truth Social's first year of raucous existence was that Donald Trump had permanently redefined societal precedents around the extent free speech can be permitted on privately owned communications platforms, even without governmental or public oversight. And he had accomplished this by simply creating maximum publicity and public demand for a product with zero guardrails, permitting absolutely everything and anything to spill forth from his unfiltered community. As controversies and outrages followed each other in wave after wave through the Truth Social ecosystem, Trump's branding machinery spun them into new rallying cries for disaffected digital citizens to join the swelling mass of fellow outcasts. Citizen journalism tribunals, extremist influencers, and online provocateurs across the ideological fringes were all welcomed in as freedom fighters hailing from the same marginalized tribe and uniting under a collective victimhood. Trump simultaneously weaponized Truth Social as an extension of his post-presidency grievance politics and strategy of perpetually campaigning to stir perpetual culture clashes. Major events and news cycles were hijacked by Truth Social's alternative perspectives through its steadily growing reach across new mediums. Rampant vaccine misinformation and COVID denialism gained traction through viral truth threads reaching tens of millions, generating rolling superspreader events and prolonging the pandemic. Narratives around critical race theory, the transgender movement, immigration, and countless other third-rail cultural issues quickly became dominated by Truth's hate speech-laced reframing and perpetual shock cycle. Election integrity and Capitol riot truths took the lead in perpetuating the big lie for millions who saw mainstream data as disinformation, sustaining direct threats to American democratic institutions. The same battle lines around content moderation and free speech vs hate speech consistently commusted into international affairs whenever Truth Social truths escaped containment into foreign digital spheres. The flagrant dismissal of community safeguards by giving voice to every imaginable brand of hate, conspiracy theory, and regime propaganda on the Truth Social platform solidified Trump's media kingdom as an unrivaled rogue state actor in the 21st century's information battle space. There would be nowhere to hide from its blitzkrieg assault on societal truth and cultural narrative dominance. Steady revenue streams despite ad boycotts. As Truth Social's unyielding editorial posture that no idea is too fringe forged ahead, the existential question for many investors wondering how it would monetize content that blatantly violated most corporate branding values or basic decency standards. Traditional advertising based on data analytics and brand safety measures was out of the question due to the nature of Truth's unhampered user dynamics. Mainstream ad industry boycotts prevented open exchange with major demand-side platforms or ad servers. But herein laid Truth's secret contrarian edge. By jettisoning all the traditional protocols and revenue dependencies social media giants were beholden to, the Trump enterprise was able to pioneer unprecedented direct monetization venues with its captured extremist audience. No reliance on third-party ad servers or squeamish advertisers meant 100% of the leverage belonged to the first party. While mostly blocked on app stores, Truth Social accumulated millions of credit card subscribers overnight, paying $15.30 recurring monthly fees for premium uncensored access and privileges. Direct merchandise and memorabilia e-commerce hawked mega kitsch, making up over 100 M in revenues just from Trump brand diehards clamoring for the newest piece of digital regalia. Lucrative sponsorship and paid advertising deals cropped up from a vast ecosystem of alternative wellness supplement brands, cryptocurrency exchanges, doomsday preppers, and other fringe market sectors. Bespoke micro e-commerce, pay-to-access, and subscription-only to-platform digital products soon tapped the deep pockets of Truth Social's evangelical base. Simply put, Trump's media behemoth had mustered a subscriber-first direct business model that cut out all conventional internet middlemen. It was a harbinger of things to come for much larger swaths of the outrage engagement, anti-establishment counterculture growth channels lying in wait across the digital plane. By the end of Truth Social's inaugural year of upending conventions, analysts were projecting a self-sustaining $1 billion revenue run rate profitability despite advertising boycotts. Trump himself raked in over $100 million personally by simply aggregating fees from his most hardcore disciples, sowing the seeds for an eventual debt-free, billion-dollar platform. No more fake tech valuations required. Meta-reality clash of information civilizations. When Facebook rechristened itself as Meta to reflect the converged digital future it envisioned, little did its leadership foresee the head-on collision course with Donald Trump's own Truth Social meta-reality ambitions. 2023 and beyond would see the former president leverage his early mover advantage and momentum as a full-on raid against legacy social giants and an unprecedented bid to overthrow digital information norms and realities. First came a series of moves by Truth to self-integrate across mobile hardware, desktop services, cloud storage computing, fintech, merchandise and subscription models. Next was the rollout of Truthified search, web browsing and email components right within the Truth ecosystem, ensuring users no longer had to leave its umbrella universe for any utility. Finally, the ultimate closed-loop component arrived with Truth Buy Sell, a massive decentralized marketplace for users to facilitate transactions in crypto and pursue true financial autonomy beyond the reach of any corporate or government intermediary. What had started as a lone free speech Twitter clone quickly revealed itself as an entire parallel internet with its own reality tunnel, a self-sustaining digital plane of existence constructed to circumvent all mainstream technology stacks and globalist corporate hegemony. Truth became the literal manifestation of Trump's rallying cries against radical liberal indoctrination and the deep state, a new cyber frontier rejecting conventional citizen identities, centralized institutional authority and economic control paradigms. Mark Zuckerberg's Meta, along with other big tech Musks and blockchain brothers, would initially chuckle about the fringe upstarts' delusions of grandeur in splintering off into a wayward sovereign balkanized internet realm. That is until these same real titans saw their once impenetrable walled gardens and data fortresses come under daily blitzkrieg cyber attack from Trump's digital armada that neither played by any known rules of engagement nor had any centralized hub to neutralize and disrupt. The sheer force of hundreds of millions of fully propagandized disciples directed towards overwhelming every open digital space, protocol, and commercial touchpoint represented a triumph of asymmetric distribution warfare against the old centralized order's existential inputs. And Trump stood at the center as undisputed sovereign leader, crowdsourcing bots and brigades to swarm code auditors, bombard every public forum, and inject his alternative worldview into anything corporate, Silicon Valley, or governmental that opposed the march towards full domain singularity. Soon truth extremists were weaponizing emergent Web3 mechanics like never before, indiscriminately carpet-bombing social media discourse with their alternate consensus realities. They triggered self-fulfilling feedback loops and infinite zombified regression streams that tricked AI content moderation systems into utter bewilderment over how to discern truth. As the scale tipped towards post-truth moral relativism reigning supreme, populist influencers were already ascending into blockchain godhood by minting Truth Cosmic World NFT avatars embedded with viral indoctrinated thought space. The greatest trick Trump's reality revolution ultimately pulled was convincing entire generations of digital citizens that nothing was more truthful than his synthetic worldview, with its own facts, physics, and cosmic consciousness. Or perhaps it was ensuring no one could ever know where the falsehood ended and truth began. What could really be dismissed as misinformation when the disinformation stream itself was mutated into an unstoppable sociogenic attack vector and profit extraction mechanism? Suddenly, the battle was neither about free speech absolutism nor open internet protocols and Web3 primacy. Rather, the grand theater of conflict was over primordial societal source code, whether unconscious biodigital systems themselves could remain solvent and sovereign when high recombinant genetic mimetic sagas were being deployed by bad actors to swarm, seize, and utterly redefine truth across all dimensions. Truth Social and Trumpism had simply become the harbinger by which reality itself was re-rendered under new control deities.